Hello everyone and welcome to this healing session of this week. We officially entered Scorpio season. Yay! Happy birthday to all Scorpios watching here. Having Scorpio in your big three or anywhere else in your chart, let me know in the comment section down below what your Scorpio placements are. I'm really curious. If I remember correctly, I don't have any Scorpio in my chart. Let me check. Oh wait, I actually do. I have Scorpio in my 11th house. Okay, well, I thought I don't, but I guess this is also a month for me to strive. But yeah, we're gonna do some planetary transits. If you're new here, our zodiac season videos talk about the different planets transitioning in this season, which means every single year there's something different happening because the planets move in a different speed. There are some that move quicker around its own axis, or like the circulatory ring they're in, and some a little bit slower, so the transits will never be the same every single year. And I choose 3 planetary transits for the YouTube videos and 3 for the Patreon community. So if you're interested to learn even more about the Scorpio season, I have my Patreon linked in the description box down below. But I'm gonna read you out loud what is happening for this Scorpio season, which I'm really excited about. The planets that I chose, I always focus on the ones that catch my attention the most when I look at the planet chart to see what is happening during that time frame. And the biggest one right now is the lunar eclipse in Taurus, the 28th of October, which is all about embracing change, surrendering to the endings, like kind of instead of fighting against it, we're just gonna sit back and be like, okay, this is happening and we're gonna accept it, as well as reveal secrets of our fears. And this one is going to be really important in my opinion, because they can help us understand ourselves so much better, but also when you work on them, your life gets so much easier, and why fight against it if you can work with it? Then the next one is Mars in Scorpio, which started the 12th of October and it's gonna be there until the 24th of November. So quite a long transit. Here I want to focus on heightening our motivations so we can get our tasks done, our projects, or any other goal that you have, that this is the time to really work through it, towards it, as well as challenge your stress. If you're someone that gets stressed out quite easily and overwhelmed, here I want you to practice more of a I'm not stressed, I cannot let myself be stressed. You basically decide subconsciously if you're stressed or not, and when you decide you don't get stressed out, even if there's a lot of pressure, your tasks get done so much better and more efficiently, in my opinion, as well as dealing better with our anger. Mars is a really strong planet, and it being in Scorpio, it kind of like one of its ruling zodiac signs, it feels really comfortable. It knows the best to deal with its own emotions in that zodiac sign. And if you're someone that gets angered really easily, this is also the time to practice more, instead of lashing out at everyone, to just take a few deep breaths and just work through that anger slowly and not explode directly. Then Pluto in Capricorn. I don't have here time frame because Pluto moves really slowly, and I couldn't specifically find the beginning date and the ending date, but we're gonna have it until the 22nd of November, or like the 21st, when we start to shift into Sagittarius season. In Sagittarius season, we're gonna have like the beginning of it, probably also in Pluto. I think like Pluto takes between 60 or 90 days to move its course like into the next sign, something around there. So I couldn't really find it specifically, but here it wants us to focus on following our soul's desire. So this is a time to really look into and ask yourself, what do I want for my life? What do I want for myself? What is a long-term goal of mine? As well as work with your shadows and not against them. So here, your shadow parts that you have been suppressing will be coming forward, and you're gonna slowly start to work with them. If you're someone that struggles with shadow work, I have an ebook I made with over 50 pages plus worth of shadow work prompts, ranging through inner child up to all the chakras. So you can check that out in the description box, where it's more like a, I would say, you have more like of a guideline to work through if you just completely start, or if you just don't know what should I work on next. That one can be really helpful during this time. So after this long intro, we're gonna get right into it. So for the eclipse season, we're gonna first start with surrendering to the change. And I just want you to let go of any expectations you might have, any fears, and as well as letting your ego rest a little bit in the backside, so that you can take over for the direction of this new change, as well as to remind you that it's only scary in the beginning phases of it, and afterwards, when you get used to it, when it starts to become the new comfort zone, that's when you just can fully relax and start to thrive. That down to the body, to also soothe a little bit your fight or flight moments or reaction for when change is up on you. Another one is also surrendering to the ending. Just knowing that it's time to finally let go of some situations. And accepting the fact that not every cycle is ongoing, that sometimes we stop to start the next one. Especially this year, I feel like we, as a collective, everyone could experience multiple rebirths during this year, and we still have not finished it. And I feel like we have another two coming up on us, just so we can be prepared for 2024. For a lot of people, this year maybe was not a great one. For some of you, it was maybe one of the best years you had in a long time. It always really depends on the numerology of the year and how well it what's the word, adapts to your life path number. But overall, 24 is going to be in numerology the number 8, so we're gonna see a lot of financial change for that year. The next part is revealing the secrets of our fears. Gonna use this labradorite. It's one of my favorite crystals because it's such a unique stone, with the color changing in the light, as well as it has some really shimmery particles. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus. There we go. It's just a really beautiful, unique stone. Okay, the secret of our fears. Sometimes we have some hidden fears that we're not really aware of. I kind of want to bring those to the surface so you can work through them during this time. You're going to be pulling them out of your subconsciousness. There are many, many fears we are unaware of. For example, for me, I'm someone that's kind of like still struggling with the fear of being seen, which is ironic because I put videos on YouTube, but it's actually, when you look at it, the people that put themselves in a public eye, you can harbor the fear of making a mistake and then everyone bashing you for it, which is really common on social media. You just have to say one tiny word wrong and you get cancelled for it, or a lot of envious people that can lurk on your social media, and you know, a part of you can be like, oh, what if these people see me and see that I'm being successful and doing something for myself? And there are so many other different fears of that can be similar, where you just don't realize it until you look at it a little bit deeper. And I want you to spend time thinking about what your hidden fears are and how you can combat it. One of my favorite ways to do it is giving my subconscious homework for when I'm sleeping. So I just say, dear subconscious, tonight you have this task to work on while I'm sleeping, and then slowly you just reprogram your subconscious for the next 6 to 8 hours, depending on how much you sleep. So that's kind of like your little homework to do for this Scorpio season. The next target is the Mars in Scorpio, starting with the heightened motivation, and I just want to bring that forward, give it a little bit of a boost. One is challenging your stress. I'm gonna use here a tiger's eye, which is great for grounding, just so we can always stay in a grounded space. from the top of your head, through the middle of your body, and leaving the stone between your feet. So that it continues you to ground until the end of the session. Just gonna pull all that energy, the excess stress you might have, into the earth, so that Mother Nature can recycle and transmute that energy into something she can use it, as well as anchoring a grounded energy into your body. If you have any tiger's eye, black obsidian, or smoky quartz, you can use that to ground yourself during the Scorpio season, when you notice it gets a little bit too hectic and you're starting to fall back into a stressful pattern. And if you don't have any crystals, I also recommend a really nice scented candle that brings the same effect to you. The next is dealing better with our anger. I think I want to focus here specifically on the sacral chakra, because it's the chakra that channels our emotional state. So I'm just going to be focusing here on balancing out the energies. Next is the Pluto in Capricorn and the soul's desires. We're gonna bring those desires, let's say, make it easier for them to appear in our 3D reality, but also strengthen the connection between you and your soul, so that you know exactly what do I want exactly. It could help making a vision board or just meditating on it. It's going to be blurring out the line between your physical body and your soul, so that you feel more connected to it. Especially between you and your higher self. Sometimes it's easy, if you don't know what your true soul side is, to just call out to your higher self, or in this case, if you feel called to it, I would suggest going into the Akashic records and just see what is written down in the book section of your life. The Akashic records is basically what's been written about what happened in the past, the present, also what can happen in this future. And sometimes I find it helpful to just do that meditation and just looking into the books and getting specific information. For example, my Shadowwork book was a specific information I pulled from the Akashic records, because it was already written there that I will release a book. So I just took that as confirmation with the already existing idea, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. But yes, also the shadow part is really important for this Pluto and Capricorn. I'm gonna use this black obsidian. To help, what's the word? It's not comic right now. The way I picture it is you and your shadow self grabbing each other by the hand and walking through the path together, instead of one being in front of the other and just kind of stopping each other in a way. I kind of want this truce between you guys. So you can also, one really helpful way is to meditate on your shadow self and imagine it as a dark figure that's living inside of you, and just hugging them and showing them love and compassion, because that's initially what your shadow self wants. Why it sometimes tries to self-sabotage you to keep you safe from being disappointed, hurt and everything. It's your defense mechanism. So working against it is going to do you more bad than good. So when you show the shadow selves I appreciate what you do for me, but we can do this together. We're not supposed to fight, we're supposed to be in the same team. And that's when they start to realize, oh, what I've been doing was with good intentions, but maybe I shouldn't stop. I rarely have my ego calm, or my shadow selves in the way anymore. Sometimes it happens, but then I try to remind it, so it's okay. It's just a step out of our comfort zone. We don't have to react this way. In a sense, I would say you have to treat it similar to your inner child, because it also kind of is a little bit of an extension of the inner child. So you have to treat it also with the same compassion and love you try to give to your inner child to your shadow self, because it's basically the hurt version of yourself from over the years that just became bigger, and the more you treat it and work with it, the smaller it gets, or the less space it takes up, I would say. But as I said in the beginning, if you struggle with shadow work, I have a book in the description box. I did some of the inner child prompts myself on Friday, and immediately after them I went to bed, got my childhood plushie and just stayed there with it, hugging it, because I was so emotional afterward, because so many things came up that I didn't know I felt that way, and I really just let my inner child write it out. Not even me, I was just like, take over, write what you feel. And yeah, it really gave me a big perspective shift in that moment, but it was much needed. Gonna finish with a aura fluff. Now you know what to expect for this Scorpio season. Thank you so much for being here with me and allowing me to do this for you. It's always such an honor for you guys to trust me with your health and your past and sharing that with me. Gonna see you guys in our next video, and until then, stay safe and healthy. Goodbye everyone.